Big Brother 27's first HO of the season made this rookie mistake with his nominations. He thought he was making a power move, but in the shadows of the Big Brother house, betrayal whispers louder than strategy. Why did Vince, a superfan, a strategist, a man who claimed he was ready for war, make a move that could destroy his entire game in the very first week? Was it a simple mistake? Or was it something much darker? A test, a trap, a manipulation planted before the feeds even turned on? Because this isn't just another season of Big Brother. This is the season where trust dies fast, and secrets are weaponized before sunrise. So why did Vince go back on his word, when every player in that house knows the cameras never forget? You're about to learn the one move that could cost him $500,000, and possibly something even more disturbing. Stick around, because what you're about to hear isn't just a mistake, it's a blueprint for disaster. Big Brother 27 promised us chaos, but no one expected the first move to be this messy. Let's rewind the tape. Vince Panaro, the superfan, the self-proclaimed strategist, a man who's watched more seasons than most people have had birthdays. From the moment he stepped into the house, Vince looked ready. He volunteered for the first head of household competition without hesitation. But that confidence, it's the same reason players fall, and fall hard. Because if there's one golden rule in Big Brother, it's this: never make a promise you can't keep. And Vince, he made 3 of them, publicly, in front of other house guests. He promised safety to the very people he was about to betray. Let that sink in. He knew the house was watching. He knew trust is currency in week 1, and still he threw it away like loose change. Now here's where it gets murky. You see, Vince wasn't making decisions in a vacuum. He was operating under pressure. Real pressure. Because right after winning HOH, he learned something horrifying. He wasn't allowed to nominate 4 of the house guests. Not because of strategy, not because of alliances, but because of a twist. And this twist, it came with a ghost from Big Brother's past. Rachel Reilly. Yes, that Rachel Reilly. The legend, the wildcard, the chaos queen. And she didn't come alone. She brought immunity. And she handed it out like candy. To Clifton, Will Williams, to Zach Cornell, to Ava Pearl. And suddenly 4 house guests were untouchable. Not because they earned it, but because Rachel made a choice. A strategic, dangerous, eerily personal choice. Now let's pause. Why would Rachel, who's only in the house temporarily, care who's safe in week 1? Why would she burn that influence on 4 very specific names? Unless she's setting up a longer game. What if Rachel isn't just a twist? What if she's a planted spy, feeding information to production, or worse, to future house guests? Think about it. This is Big Brother. Paranoia isn't a weakness, it's survival. So now Vince has just 11 names to choose from, and the walls are already closing in. He can't go after Rachel. He can't touch her 4 chosen allies. He can't trust the house. And yet he has to make 3 nominations. This is where everything begins to unravel. But wait, before we dive into the full consequences, you need to do one thing: subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't just recap reality TV. We expose the hidden strategies, the secret manipulations, the forbidden knowledge they don't want you to understand. Big Brother isn't just a game. It's a mirror. And the reflection gets darker every week. So if you're still here, you're not just watching the show. You're waking up to what it really is. Let's talk about the fatal error. Vince made a rookie mistake, but it wasn't just bad gameplay, it was a public betrayal. Here's what happened. During the HOH competition, Vince aligned with 3 people: Ashley Hollis, Adrian Rocha, and Jimmy Hegarty. They weren't just allies, they made a pact, a promise: whoever wins HOH doesn't nominate the others. It wasn't whispered, it wasn't coded, it was out loud, on camera, with nods of agreement. That was his first mistake, making a public deal without a private backup plan. But then came the second mistake. Ashley asked to use Vince's HOH shower. On the surface, no big deal, right? But this is Big Brother. Every action is a story, and this one exploded. Ashley took a long shower. Vince had to wait, and suddenly the house twisted the narrative. She's too comfortable with him. She's manipulating him. Something's off. What should have been a simple moment of hygiene became a social landmine. And Vince, instead of shutting it down, he panicked. Instead of defending his word, he did something shocking. He nominated Ashley, the very person he promised to protect. Let's say that again. Vince nominated someone he swore, in front of the whole house, to keep safe. That's not just bad strategy, that's social suicide. He didn't stop there. Alongside Ashley, he nominated Amy Bingham, who literally cried when Vince talked about putting Ashley on the block. Isaiah Z. Frederich, who wasn't even in the main drama, but clearly became the real target. So what's going on? Let's decode the real strategy, the part they're not showing on primetime. Zay is Vince's true target. He thinks Zay is dangerous, too quiet, too observant, too unpredictable. But instead of putting 2 pawns next to him, Vince made a fatal third mistake. He put a friend on the block. A friend who feels betrayed. A friend who could flip the house. And in this game, one angry voice becomes a tidal wave. You see, this isn't just about noms. This is about reputation. And Vince just told the entire house, I'll lie to your face. I'll go back on my word. And I'll do it when it's convenient. In week 1. Now ask yourself what happens in week 3. Week 5. Final 7. If he's already burning bridges now, what will he have left when the game gets real? Or maybe, just maybe, this isn't a mistake at all. Maybe Vince is playing a deeper game. Maybe he wants them to think he's messy, to look like a liar, To attract fire, so someone else, someone deeper in the shadows, can move undetected. But if that's the case, then Vince is either a genius or doomed, and the house is about to decide which. There's something you need to understand about the Big Brother house. When someone breaks a promise early on, it's not forgotten. It's not forgiven. It's documented. Behind every wall, behind every confession camp, behind every handshake, there's a record being written, and Vince just wrote his own downfall in ink. Let's go deeper. Remember the trio he played the HOH competition with: Jimmy, Adrian, Ashley. Vince promised them all safety. But by nominating Ashley, he didn't just burn one bridge. He lit a signal flare. Because Jimmy and Adrian, they were watching, and they just realized, if he can do that to her, he can do it to anyone. That's when the silent conversations began. The whispers, the late-night strategy talks behind closed doors, and the birth of an alliance Vince doesn't know exists. Some alliances are obvious, some are subtle, and some are forged in betrayal. After Vince made his nominations, the fallout was instant. Ashley was stunned, Amy was emotional, Zay was furious, but someone else, Jimmy, was quiet. And when someone in the Big Brother house goes silent, they're not shutting down, they're calculating. In the corner of the game board, a group began forming, an alliance built not on trust, but on a shared enemy. They're calling themselves the Core, and their purpose: survive week 1. Then take Vince out. It includes Jimmy, the silent strategist; Amy, who's now wounded and dangerous; Ashley, the betrayed one, with something to prove; Zay, who realizes he was never meant to stay quiet; and Ava Pearl, one of the safe 4, who's secretly already flipping sides. Let that sink in. Ava, someone Rachel really protected, is already moving against Vince. Why? Because she doesn't trust anyone who can look someone in the eye and still lie. Vince thought he was safe by protecting the have-nots. But one of them is preparing to turn the entire house against him. There's a strategy no one talks about in Big Brother: strategic self-destruction. It sounds insane, but stay with me. The theory goes like this: if you know the house is turning against you, you lean into chaos, you stir the pot, you expose alliances, you go nuclear. Why? Because sometimes if you're loud enough, the target shifts. And right now, Vince might be preparing to detonate. He's already hinted in the diary room that he's not done. He's watching the reactions. He's making notes. He's tracking eye contact and meal groups. And he's not just worried about this week. He's planning for weeks 3, 5, 7. The real game doesn't start until the first vote. And that vote, it's coming fast. Here's where things get even darker. According to inside sources, there's a push to flip the vote. Zay is supposed to be the target, but the house is stirring. There are whispers that Amy might go instead. Others say Ashley is more vulnerable. But there's an even bigger theory. What if someone convinces the house to vote out Zay, and then blames it on Vince? What if the Core lets him believe he's safe, then slaughters him in the next HOH comp? That's the most dangerous position to be in. False power. You think you're in control, but really you're just the puppet, and someone else is pulling the strings. Big Brother loves its twists, and this season, there's already chatter of something major behind the scenes. Multiple house guests have mentioned a strange door upstairs. It doesn't open. There's no camera inside, and no one will admit what's behind it. But the feeds caught something, just for a few seconds. A red light flashing under the door. A voice, maybe pre-recorded, or maybe something more alive. Some fans think it's the return of the hacker twist. Others believe it's something even darker: a secret room, where evicted house guests don't go home. They stay, they listen, and they vote from the shadows. If that's true, if evictees become part of a secret jury early, Vince's betrayal isn't just remembered, it's recorded, and his enemies might still be in the house, watching, waiting, smiling. Let's stop pretending Big Brother is just a game show. It's not. It's a social experiment, a controlled environment, a live-streamed psychological arena where trust is currency, lies are weapons, and silence can mean war. Vince made a mistake, a rookie move. But the real question isn't whether it will cost him the game. The question is, did someone set him up to make it? Was this whole twist, the 4 have-nots, Rachel's immunity, the limited nominations, designed to force him into a trap? Is production playing a game within the game? Because if so, Vince is already lost. He just doesn't know it yet. And when the final betrayal comes, it won't be from a houseguest, it'll be from the game itself. This is just the first week. And already, we've seen a broken alliance, a silent uprising, a backdoor conspiracy, and a hidden room pulsing with red light. This isn't just a new season. It's a new era of Big Brother. And in this version, the players aren't playing each other. They're being played. So stay alert, track the lies, follow the shadows, and whatever you do, don't trust the nominations, because the real eviction has already started.